Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining me today on this, the 17th of May. Just making sure we're live. Are we live? Looks like we are. It looks like we are. Perhaps. There we go. It says excellent connection. So I hope your connection is excellent as well. I see we're live on YouTube, and it looks like we are live on Rumble. Cool. Perhaps. Refresh. Anyway, we'll just get into it. Kidding me. Come on. Refresh. Well, I'll just assume eventually we'll be live, right? And then that's when you'll be watching it. What's up, John? Nice to see you. Hashtag Rumble Gang. That's right. If we're live. Come on. Maybe it's just me. Maybe you can see me. I just can't see me. Anyway. Forget that. We don't need to get into all of that. Let's just get into the topic, and that is our leaders are not that impressive. No. Folks, I just had the misfortune of watching the House Oversight Committee in action, and let me tell you, I'm embarrassed. Embarrassed for this country. Embarrassed for our democracy, and frankly, embarrassed for every American who had to witness this spectacle. I mean, what happened to the days when our political leaders actually acted like adults? You know, when they debated issues with intelligence and integrity instead of trading insults like schoolyard bullies on a sugar high. Watching that committee was like watching a dysfunctional family reunion where everyone was airing their dirty laundry for the whole neighborhood to see. Let me tell you something. The neighbors, not impressed. We've got elected leaders who seem more concerned with scoring cheap points, settling personal scores, than actually getting anything done. It's like they've forgotten they're supposed to be representing the people, not auditioning for a reality TV show. And the worst part, it's not just embarrassing, it's damaging. It undermines the very fabric of our democracy and erodes trust in our institutions. If our leaders can't even behave themselves in a committee hearing, what hope do we have for any kind of meaningful progress? So here's my plan. Not my plan, my plea, because I can read, to our elected leaders. Grow up. Act like leaders we elected you to be, because right now, you're just embarrassing yourselves. You're embarrassing all of us, and frankly, we deserve better. Or maybe we have exactly what we deserve. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffey and Nuance Show, best censored commentary news show live right now. Flame on. Okay, cool. That's my initial thoughts, and after refreshing, yeah, it looks like we are live. How about that? Well, that's good. For, I don't know, all one people that's watching this stream? Yeah, anyway, I guess I'll be making some changes to this channel and to this show, because this isn't working. It's not working. Anyway, let me get into what I had to witness today. Yeah, let's just get into it, yeah, shall we? We saw this House Oversight Committee. I watched it. And a lot of times I don't watch this stuff because it's boring. This wasn't boring. This was just really an embarrassment. There was a lot of back and forth between Marjorie Taylor Greene, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, who, it's tricky because I feel like I can't even talk about her in a way that's not going to sound prejudiced. You know, that's the issue. But it's really embarrassing when someone who apparently has a law degree doesn't know basic English. It's just cringe. It really is cringe. But they were going back and forth, and this had to do with contempt for Attorney General Merrick Garland. Okay, so that's what this whole thing was about. And the discourse was so wretched and embarrassing. I would be embarrassed if they were in high school and this was playing out at the student government. If this was happening in student government in high school, I would pull everyone aside and say, we're better than this. We're better than this. And that's how bad it was. I could play clips. You can go look at the clips. It was really, really bad. And it's interesting now that I am not part of a political party, now that I am not part of one at all, I feel like I'm able to judge this a little bit better than I could before. But basically, what this whole Merrick Garland case is about is they requested the audio from Biden's meeting with her, who was determining whether or not Biden should be impeached because of the documents, holding classified documents, sharing them with his stenographer, with his, I guess, ghostwriter for his book, all that kind of stuff. And they released a transcript for this, but they didn't release the audio recordings, and Merrick Garland was requested to release the audio transcripts. And they're saying, look, we gave you the transcript, so you don't need to hear the audio. Well, the comments that were made by her afterwards was saying that, look, I can't really prosecute Biden because he's this old guy who couldn't remember where he was, and it's going to be hard to prove because he's a feeble old man, essentially. Well, that really comes into play with the actual transcript. A lot of the transcript, there were things in it that they said were inaudible, right? Well, if you could actually hear it, then you could determine whether it was inaudible or not, or whether the White House choose to claim that some things were inaudible, but they actually weren't. The doubling and tripling down by the Democrats in this case is like beyond pathetic, but I don't think it's really even going to be covered in the media much. It's going to be framed in a way that is not going to make a whole lot of sense. And frankly, I wish I could do a better job explaining it, because I know that I'm doing a terrible job explaining what happened there. Probably because it's hard for me to put something together for the show when I know that it's, being watched by just a handful of people. And that's on me. That's on me. So I'm going to be making changes to this channel and to this show because obviously this isn't working. But what's not working is Congress. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I have zero faith that anyone in DC can get anything done to save this country. If this is who is leading us, I've lost all faith. I've lost all faith. So sorry about that. Anyway, I guess we can get to some better news. Let's get to some better news. Let's talk about how all of Gen Z has maxed out their credit cards. And my graphic is messed up. Didn't even notice that. That's supposed to be Gen Z. Apparently I can't make a Z. Anyway, 15.3% of Gen Z borrowers have maxed out their cards. Now, despite economic growth, or so claimed by Biden, credit card delinquencies are at their highest rate since 2012. lower income individuals are disproportionately affected. Wonder why. Experts suggest strategies like balance transfers and seeking credit counseling. The Federal Reserve's decision on interest rates must consider the strain on borrowers. So, yeah. So, over 15% of Gen Z has maxed out their cards. That's not a really good sign for the economy, is it? I don't think so. And you're thinking, well, is that really bad? I just heard something. What was that? Yeah, it's really bad. The economy is a lot worse than they're reporting, but you can just, I don't know, just believe what the White House says, I guess. You know, as this is a fact check Friday, they keep fact checking Biden about him claiming his claims on inflation. The fact that they're actually fact checking Biden now for the first time in his presidency kind of tells me that my prediction that Biden will not be the candidate in November, I'm sticking by that. Anyway, more economy news. Let's talk about dollarization. Yeah, so Argentine economy minister Caputo, that's ironic, backs dollarization under President Milei, emphasizing the need to move away from the peso-dollar parity amid widening exchange rate gaps. He cites recent market fluctuations and expresses confidence in the government's economic strategy, including credit reactivation and inflation reduction efforts. Caputo remains optimistic about progress in foreign investor interest, emphasizing behavior controls over price regulation. So what this means, essentially, dollarizing the peso is what they've been talking about in Argentina. It's not official yet. But what that means is they're going to adopt the US dollar as the official currency of Argentina. They're going to replace the peso for everyday transactions. And in practical terms, this means that prices, wages, and contracts would be denominated in dollars, and the Argentine Central Bank would no longer control any monetary policy. The aim of this is to stabilize the economy, reduce inflation, and increase confidence in the currency. However, it also means loss of control over domestic monetary policy and can pose challenges in managing economic shocks. So that's what they are looking to do in Argentina, but it has not happened yet. They have kind of pegged the peso to the dollar, but they're looking at going even further than that and just replacing the peso altogether. Now, you may wonder, are things working? Well, for the first time in years, now it is possible to get a mortgage in Argentina. Inflation had been so high that no banks were giving mortgages. Well, now people are lining up to get mortgages down in Argentina. So I think these measures are, or at least appear, to be working. Unfortunately, they're tying their money to the US dollar, which may have its own issues. Considering the fact that we're printing 10 billion a day, more than we take in. So, yeah. So there you go. There's a little update about that. And now let's get to some other craziness. North Carolina Senate passed a bill sponsored by Republican State Senator Buck Newton to ban the wearing of masks in public, including for health reasons. Newton argued that some individuals are exploiting pandemic norms to conceal their identities during protests. The bill, reminiscent of the 1950s law targeting the KKK, is aimed at aiding police in identifying protesters. Now, despite assurances that the law wouldn't be used to arrest ordinary citizens, critics see it as an attack on protests, particularly those regarding Israel's actions in Gaza. Democrats oppose the bill, because of course they do, arguing it endangers vulnerable people such as cancer patients who rely on masks for protection, because all of those vulnerable cancer patients are out there on the streets protesting. The ban, the bill passed along party lines, awaits a decision from Governor Roy Cooper. This move follows a series of pro-Palestinian protests on college campuses where mask wearing has been prevalent. So, this is a tricky one. Obviously, you should be able to wear a mask, I would hope, in public if you want to. But while we're at it, why not ban makeup too? Because makeup can change the way that people look, right? Maybe you shouldn't allow people to wear wigs, because wigs change the way that people look, right? So if you are going to a protest, you should not be able to wear makeup. You should not be able to wear a wig. You should not be able to do anything to alter your appearance. That would be my suggestion. No, I'm serious. I think that's my suggestion. Because I think if that were the case, you would actually see how ridiculous this is. If there are people that are protesting that are doing things that are against the law, then the police should go in and arrest those people that are doing those things. I don't buy this thing that, like, well, we're just, we're filming all this for later, and we need to know who everyone is. Yeah, in this case, I am, I guess I'm not siding with the protesters, but I think you should be able to wear a mask to conceal your identity. You know, you should be able to do that. In fact, you should be able to wear a balaclava when you go into a bank, right? Why shouldn't you be able to wear a ski mask when you are in the middle of summer if you walk into a bank? I don't know. I don't even know where I stand on this one today. I do think that they are... The thing is, the mask is a twofold thing. Wearing the mask really appears to be a political statement. At least that's what it appears to be in Portland. It's a political statement. It's saying that you're such a good person that you're not going to infect someone else. That's what it appears to be here in Portland. But it is also then used to conceal your identity when you're doing some shenanigans. I still think you should be able to wear one, though. In fact, maybe that's the business I need to get into. Maybe I need to get into some very concealing face masks for troublemakers. That could be $1 million idea. Anyway, I have a dirty fly in my studio. I left the door open for 2 minutes, and there's a fly. It's been buzzing around, and I have not been able to catch it. Might have to do a little bit with my mood today. Anyway, we got one more update. This is on the Georgia protests. Georgia, the country. So in Georgia's capital, that's Tbilisi, protests erupted following the approval, it was approved, the foreign influence bill by lawmakers. Now, critics U.S. State Department, argue the bill resembles Russian legislation and threatens free speech and the country's EU aspirations. Demonstrators clashed with police, leading to arrests and injuries. The bill mandates registration of organizations receiving over 20% of funding from abroad, aiming to curb perceived foreign interference. International condemnation followed. That's right, with the U.S. warning of reassessing relations. The governing party may override any veto by the current president. Renewal protests reflect deep political divisions, with the opposition accusing the government of undermining democracy. Now, where have we heard undermining democracy? That should be the trigger to know that someone is full of it. Yes, they're undermining democracy by wanting to know if foreign groups are receiving, if organizations are receiving more than 20% of their money from foreign nations. That's undermining democracy. Labeling organizations like a local student group, if they receive millions of dollars from, say, George Soros or from some other U.S. State Department cutout, that's undermining democracy. Is absolutely insane. And I think it's pretty clear that the entire protest is being funded by the United States. But anyway, that's the update on that. Looks like it's going to be law. And lastly, we need some good news. And this good news is coming out of Mexico City. So a small taco stand in Ciudad de Mexico, Taqueria El Califa de Leon, with just 4 menu items, earned a Michelin Star. Chef Arturo Rivera Martinez emphasis on simple yet quality tacos, notably the Guanera taco, impressed inspectors. This recognition reflects the diversity of Mexican cuisine and with other establishments also acknowledged. It mirrors the recognition given to a Singaporean street food stall in 2016, showcasing a broader appreciation for exceptional culinary experiences. So that's right, this taco stand in Mexico City, where you eat off red paper plates, is a 1-star Michelin restaurant. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. Now, when I think of Michelin Star restaurants, I think of fine dining. I think of great service. I think of all of those things. Just a really pleasant experience. I've looked at some video in the place, and it just looks to be a crowded, smoky taqueria. So I'm not sure how that is thought to be a 1-star Michelin experience, but it sounds like, and maybe I was always wrong, but I always thought that a Michelin Star was awarded for excellence overall for a restaurant and not just the food. It wasn't just the food, it was the entire experience. And I'm not sure pushing through a smoky taco stand is a Michelin 1-star, but I don't know. Maybe I should reevaluate. Now, I have not been to this particular taco stand, but you gotta go now, right? If you go to Mexico City, you've got to go to a Michelin-rated taco stand. That's for sure. So that gives you one more thing to see and do when you're in Mexico City. And what the heck? Maybe I need to reevaluate how I perceive the ratings of restaurants. Maybe I need to update how I think about that as well. Anyway, stick around for the after show. I'll go through all your comments, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna reassess this whole thing. But anyway, I'll talk about it in the after show. I hope you all have an awesome weekend. And I guess I'll be back on Monday. Peace. Ooh. I should do that. There we go. Dumpster fire. That's right. But we'll go over here to the chat. What's up, chat? Okay. Ox over there on Rumble. What's up, man? Nice to see you. Congress is not there for the citizens. Congress people are there for themselves. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to run and win. I agree with that. You run a great show, Tom. Hey, thanks, John. I appreciate it. Natasha says, John and I aren't worthy of your best work, Tom. I've never paid any interest on credit card, but I've been thinking about getting a bunch of them and maxing them out. I would probably suggest against that, but who knows? Who knows? Don't do it, Argentina. Go with the BRICS nations. Yeah, Argentina's rejected the BRICS. They were supposed to be a BRICS member. They rejected that, and I think that was strategic. I think you really can't. I think it's very hard to put yourself in the mindset of a world leader and a country that you don't live in. But if you've seen the number of times that coups have taken place in all around the world, especially in Latin America, when there is a leader that doesn't play ball with the U.S., often those people meet a bullet, if you catch my drift. And so there might have been a very intentional decision to dollarize as a way to not get cooed or not get Epsteined or whatever you want to say. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting as to what happens there. Ever since Eyes Wide Shut, mask wearing has seemed particularly weird. Yeah, it does. But what do you think if maybe that could be a new fashion statement, right? You could wear those big masks with the see this fly. This fly is getting me. Years ago I thought, I could make my fortune selling Guy Fawkes masks. That would be from like the V for Vendetta mask is what you might associate it with the most. I thought, well, I live here in Portland. I can just go buy 1,000 of those masks, get them shipped in from China, and go down to the protests and sell them $5 a pop or something. I should print money. Yeah, but I don't think that's a great idea anyway. I hear TSA is taking individual pictures at the checkpoints nowadays, and that the airlines are doing the same at the gates for face recognition. I know that in other countries, when I've traveled recently, and even in Argentina, when I went to Argentina, they had a webcam. It's actually a webcam that I have. And then they made me, stand in front of it and look into it, and they took some video, I think video, maybe just a picture, of every person coming through the checkpoints. I'm sure there's some facial recognition attached to that. So that is happening. I'm sure the TSA is doing that as well at the checkpoints. Maybe Michelin will start rating food trucks. Yeah, I've been to some great food trucks. I am somewhat skeptical about the whole Michelin system. I think it's probably corrupted, but so again is pretty much everything. Yeah, maxing. Anyway, that's all I have on the comments. So just to share, this dumpster fire is kind of what I feel the channel has become. It's hard for me to put in my best effort when I'm not getting the views, but then it's hard to expect the views if I'm not putting in my best effort. It's a bit of a catch-22 there. And yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I've got to figure out something to make this actually work better. I do like doing the show. I appreciate the interaction with the people that watch the show. But I just got to figure out something that works better. Better for me, because yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna meditate on that for a little bit this weekend and try to figure out what's gonna work best for me. But I appreciate you all. I like being able to share this, and I wish that we could be on platforms that actually promoted the work. But you know, yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, I know I sound solemn today. That's okay. I got a lot coming up and a lot on my mind. So anyway, I'll share more with that when I can. You've made the correct sacrifice to the platform gods, apparently. Oh, haven't. Oh, I haven't made the correct sacrifice. I guess the sacrifice is... I don't know. I did see a creator that I did like, who I really enjoyed, was removed from YouTube this week. More and more are being taken down, and it makes it hard. It makes it hard to really know what you can do. Obviously, yeah. Anyway, I got nothing else. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend, and things may look a little differently next week. We'll see. Anyway, have a good one, y'all. You mean more than you realize. Peace.